Alright, so today we're working on this 2012 Nissan Sentra. This is actually my sister's car, and she's got a check engine light and a rough idle. And I just pulled the code, and it's a p0303. And a quick search on Google told me that that is a misfire on cylinder number 3. I suspect a bad coil or bad plug or something like that. We're gonna replace the plugs and the coils today. We're gonna replace all four plugs and all 4 coils. I feel like if one coil goes bad, the other ones are just as old and are probably on their way out sooner or later. So we're gonna get started. So this is the MR18DE engine. It's a 1.8 liter. There's also a 1.6, I believe, and maybe a 2.0 that comes in these cars, but I'm not sure. That might be in other countries or something, but she's got the one with the 1.8. So that's what we're working on today. So another reason we're just gonna replace all 4 coils is because this engine has an intake manifold that wraps around and over the valve cover, and the coils are under it. So you could only get to the 4th coil without removing the intake manifold. The other 3 are tucked under it. So alright, so to get started, we're going to take off the intake manifold. It looks like there's 5 bolts and they're at 10 millimeter. There's one there, 2, 3, and then 4, and the 5th one in there, right there. Alright, so let's start by taking those off. And then I think I'm just gonna remove this air box.
Alright. Then I can get to the 5th one. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I dropped one. So we'll just take off the intake. Looks like it's at 8 millimeter or so. Loosen that up. Loosen that out. Alright, just remove it from the box here. There we go. That out. I have to remove the throttle body. Those are 8 millimeter. disconnect this guy. Alright, and we'll disconnect this guy. Okay, move these out of the way a little bit. There we go. Alright, now there is another 10 millimeter back here holding the intake manifold to the engine. And then there is also another 10 millimeter bolt holding the intake manifold to the valve cover right here. It would be behind the throttle body, so that's another reason we have to remove the throttle body, is to get it out of there. Alright, seems like it's loose now. Looks like this has to come off with it. There we go. This harness is clipped onto it here. Take that away from it. So let me disconnect that. Cut that out. I don't want to pry too hard because this is a plastic manifold. And I just want to twist it a little bit. Get the dipstick out of the way. There we go. So that's the intake manifold. Alright, so we'll just put that there. And this is just so that while I'm working on it, nothing gets in there. Like if I drop a bolt or something. So, better to be safe than sorry. Here's our coils, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So apparently that's the bad one, according to the check engine light. Alright, those are a 10 millimeter. Just gonna crack them loose. Disconnect those. There we go. There we go. Alright, now to remove the spark plugs. We got a 14 mil. Sounds loose. Take my magnet, fish it out. Yeah, those look a little burnt. Alright, now we're gonna replace our spark plug with a new one and get my magnet in there so that I don't drop it. Alright, I'm gonna take my socket. just make sure you catch the threads correctly. If you feel any resistance, you know, you shouldn't feel any resistance. They should just thread in smoothly. If there's any resistance or anything with the threads, it's because you're cross threading. Alright, now that they're finger tight, we're just gonna finger tight. I'm just gonna snug them in. I'm just gonna do it by feel because I don't have my torque gauge here. That's good enough. Alright, now we'll move on to the next one. Alright, put the fasteners back on it. Start them by hand. You don't want to cross thread these either. Start everything by hand. Alright, now we plug these guys back in.
Alright. Coils are plugged in.
Alright, now we can put the intake manifold back on. I got the gasket. So let's take a look at this thing. So you can take off the old one. And we'll leave it here just in case this doesn't fit for some reason. We can put the old one back on. Alright. Alright, there's the part number. And it says it's for a Nissan 2.0 and 1.8 liter. Comes with the gasket for the throttle body also. Alright, so it looks like it goes like that. Alright, there we go. That's perfect. Alright. Alright. You can put on the intake or the throttle body one also. Alright, so we'll have 2 new gaskets. Awesome. Alright, let's take the dipstick back out. Remove these. Now let's get it back on there. Low and gentle. Make sure we're not pinching anything. Doesn't look like there's anything in the way. hold it in place. Alright, where's my bolts? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And these were 10 millimeters. So I'll get this one started because it's the easiest one to get to. You want to start them by hand, make sure they go in smooth, no cross threading. Alright, then we'll do this other one. Get that guy started. Alright, we'll get this guy. This is the middle one. That started. 2 more. And right in there. That one started. Alright, that one's in. Last one right here. That one's done. Alright, now that all of these are finger tight, we'll start tightening them. And we'll start with the middle one and then go out. Tighten that. There you go. Tighten that. Tighten that. Go to the end. Tighten that. And you want to hop around like that so that you apply even pressure out as you're tightening them. So now we'll go back over, tight, 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 tight. And I don't have my torque wrench here, so I'm just gonna do it by feel. Now you don't want to overdo it. This is a plastic manifold. You don't want to strip out the threads either. So if you have the torque wrench, follow the torque specs. I'm pretty good at doing this by feel, so for this job I'm just gonna, that's good enough. That's good enough. And tomorrow I'll probably bring my torque wrench and then just check them. But for right now, for the sake of getting this job done today before the sun goes down, we're gonna do it that way. Let's see, are they the same? Yep, they're the same. So one of these goes over here. Back in there. These are a 10mm also. The one that's over here behind the throttle body. Get that guy in there. I have to do this by hand. This is where the finger dexterity comes in handy. Alright, that's all the way down. Take our short 10 mil. Alright, that's in. Got our new gasket there, so then the next thing to do is put in our throttle body. So that's these guys. They're the long ones, and they are the 8 mils. Let's line those up. Get those started. Like these bolts are arranged in a square. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4 in a square. You want to go across, one here, one here, one here, one here, and tighten in that sequence. That way you get like an even tightening. I'll go here, then I'll go to this guy. So as I'm tightening, it's like tightening evenly across the surface of the part. Again, don't go too crazy. Tighten these things. These are plastic. You don't want to break them. Just do it till they're snug. Alright, we can replace our dipstick. That goes back in there. Alright, dipstick's in. Alright, so we connected this guy. Let's get that clamp down there. Taps back in. Hook it back. Back in there, put that in there. Gotta get this guy back in there. Then we'll push him in like that, and then we'll put that clamp in. Alright, that one's secure, that one's secured. That bolt's in, throttle body's in, the bolt behind the throttle body's in. Now we'll put this guy back in, like that. And then we'll plug this guy back where he belongs, here, like that. And then, alright, so now we'll put our intake tube back in. And this guy goes like this. Let's get him in there. Alright, that's in there. That guy's in there. Now we just tighten it down. I believe that is an 8. good. That's an 8 also. Alright, that's good. And then this guy connects in here. Like that. And then we will put that clamp back down. Like that. Right, a little intake here. That clips in. And that clips in like that. And it looks like that's it. It looks like it's all back together. Let's see. Yeah, looks like that's everything that needed to get put back in. Alright, let's start it up. See what happens. Start it right up. Check engine is still on because we haven't cleared the code yet. It sounds like it's running good. I'm not getting any vibration or anything that indicates a misfire. Like before, it was just like shaky. Alright, we'll let it warm up and then we'll take it for a test drive. Alright, so it's drying pretty good, it's accelerating pretty good. Not too shabby. Seem that took care of our issue. We got new coils, we got new spark plugs, and our ignition is on point. It's idling pretty smooth. She said that the biggest complaint was when she came to a stop sign, she just felt like the engine was falling apart. It was shaking a lot, and you know, on a 4-cylinder engine, when one cylinder misfires, it's like it's a pretty rough idle. So yeah, driving pretty good. So yeah, there it is at a stop sign, just idling, just below 1,000 RPM, around 9.5 or so. Got her fixed. Alright, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.